The one thing is though, you mentioned Donovan Peoples-Jones, wide receiving room's a little beat up. We know Cooper's coming back from the core muscle injury, and he was slowed by tweaking something down at the Greenbrier. Marquise Goodwin, anytime I hear blood clots, that concerns me. Jalen Darden had a leg injury on Tuesday that didn't allow him to play. Dalen Baldwin went down. Kevin Stefanski talked about that injury and the depth of the wide receiving core earlier today.
Some good moments in that game. Obviously disappointing to turn the ball over twice. We turned the ball over on the first play of the drive twice, which was, not very good. And we were fortunate to have the lead there, being -2 in the turnover margin for a long time. So that's definitely going to be a point of emphasis for us, is ball security, both when we're got it as a quarterback or we have it as a ball carrier, tight end, receiver, whatever it may be. As you know, Mary Kay, with wide receivers and training camp, you're going to have guys in and out, and we'll adjust as necessary. You don't like to see anybody go down for any reason, but those are things that we got to just continue to work through here, both on the coaching side and on the personnel side.
Do you have to add anybody? Do you think Dalen will be out a little bit of time?
Yeah, Dalen unfortunately is going to be out, which is, I feel for the kid. He's done so many good things for us over these months, but we'll add some players here over the next couple of days.
So actually, that's definitely something we're going to have to monitor. And again, they have the numbers at that position, but at some point in time, because of how they want to play, you start going, now, can we really afford to keep losing guys at wide receiver?
Yeah, it's still early enough in training camp that the alarm bells aren't completely sounding for me, but my antennas are going up a little bit, so to speak, because I talked about this, when we were debating the whole should they sign DeAndre Hopkins idea, should they go after him? And part of my reason for why I thought, yes, they need to make every good faith effort besides his prior relationship with Deshaun Watson was the fact that last year we saw the injury bug bite this receiver room really kind of consistently throughout training camp. And I do think it impacted some things they were able to do with the offense. So I am a little concerned already, even though a lot of these injuries are happening towards the bottom of the roster. I think Marquise Goodwin is potentially a huge loss considering the kind of speed he can bring. I think last night it was unfortunate. I think we've been talking about this, that there's been a chance for a guy like Anthony Schwartz to kind of prove that he's improved and has a spot on this 53-man roster, knowing he brings speed as well. But then he fumbles that end around with his first look of the game. So I think that was unfortunate. Dalen Baldwin, I've been impressed with since last season. I thought he's made some great plays throughout camp so far. I know I put video out there of one catch he had during, I think it was 11 on 11 in the Greenbrier, where he caught the ball right by the left sideline, got both feet down, and fell out of bounds. It was such an athletic play. It was almost Donovan Peoples-Jones-esque to me. So I think that's a big loss, even though it's a guy who, was competing towards the bottom of that roster. I think especially right now, when you're trying to see who gels really well with Deshaun Watson, I thought Dalen Baldwin was actually showing that a little bit, that he could connect with Deshaun Watson when he was out there. And I think just right now is not a good time to be losing your pass catchers, when I think one of the biggest keys for this training camp and this offseason in general is Deshaun Watson figuring out who he can throw the ball to in what situations and who his favorite targets are going to be. So I do think it's unfortunate. They can't afford, I think, many more injuries there right now, or things could get kind of wonky here these final weeks of training camp.